So this concept should be review for all of us because we should have learned it over the years throughout math. However, I want you to remember it and understand it, and you might have been taught a different way, so hopefully this will help you. Remember, pause when you need to, rewind, that's the pleasure of the video. Okay, so we need to be able to convert a fraction to a decimal and even to a percent sometimes, depending upon the situation we're working with. So what I need you to do on your paper, yours is kind of blacked out because of the copy. Fill in, draw an arrow, however you need to do the instructions. To make a fraction a decimal, we divide the numerator by the denominator. So this is something to write in. The numerator, your number on top, always goes inside. Your denominator, your number on the bottom, always goes outside. It doesn't matter which one's bigger, which one's smaller. Top, inside, bottom, outside. I always remember it as like a cowboy and a horse. The cowboy is on top of the horse and he goes to the store. The horse has to tie up outside. The cowboy can go inside. Okay? Now, we ask, how many times can 16 go into 9? It can't. So I add a 0. Add a decimal. Every whole number has a decimal behind it. When the decimal is out of sight, place it on the right. So I bring that straight up. That allowed me to add a 0. Now, I can divide by 90. 16 into 90 goes 5 times, meaning 16 times 5 is 80. I'm left with 10. Okay, well, 16 can't go into 10, so I have to add another 0 and bring it down. 16 into 100 goes 6 times. 16 times 6 is 96. Then I have a 4. Well, remember, those zeros go on forever. They're there as much as you need them. So I'm going to add another one to bring it down. 16 into 40 goes 2 times. That's 32 to leave me with 8. Again, there's a remainder. We don't just put that remainder up, okay? We add a 0, bring it down. 16 into 80 goes 5 times. So therefore, that's my answer. Now, you may be told to round to the nearest hundredth. That is 2 decimal places. So you would need the third to know what to round to. Okay? So this is what we got, right? This is our decimal. Well, we're just going to take that decimal and we're going to make it a percent now. So in order to do that, I have to move my decimal point to the right 2 places because percents are out of 100. So I'm going to move it right twice. There's 1 time. That's moving it right. Then I move it right 1 more time, and it stays put there. So I kind of got to do some rewriting here. That 0 in front of the 5 is going to drop to just be 56.25. If that's what you wrote down, you would be 100% incorrect. The reason is you always have to add behind it a percent sign. It is not officially a percent until that sign is there. So that's important to understand. Okay, we're going to focus now on converting a percent to a fraction and to a decimal. I think percent to decimal is the easiest one. This time I'm moving back. I'm going to go back 2 places. The decimal is at the end. So when the decimal is out of sight, place it on the right, okay? I move it to the left 2 times and get 0.84. Again, if you have a question, you don't understand how we did it, jot it down. If you make it clear enough and legible when you load it, I can see that. If not, put it as a comment when you load your notes. Okay, there's 2 ways to do this next one, decimal to fraction. You read it and say it, but if you don't know your place values, this is going to be difficult. So this decimal is read as 84 hundredths. So 84 over 100. If you don't know your place values, well, how many digits are after the decimal place? So behind it, there's 2. So that means you need 2 zeros on the bottom with a 1. But you have to simplify it. I can divide both of those by 4 to get 21/25. Now we're going to go into this in about 2 weeks, I believe, but decimals with a repeating digit, okay? So when you write the decimal, you just need to put a bar over what repeats. Most of these, the denominator of those fractions will always be a 9, okay? You might see a 99, okay? That means 2 numbers repeat, and we're going to do a whole lesson on that. So let's take a look. How do we take this fraction and convert it to a decimal? So here we go. We need to divide, right? So we're going to put the numerator on the inside, the denominator on the outside. 20 can't go into 9, so I put a decimal and I bring it up. That allows me to add a 0. Well, 20 can go into 90 4 times. So minus 80 gives me a 10. I can add another 0 there and bring it down. 20 into 100 goes 5 times. And look at that, we are at a 0. You cannot leave a number here unless you're rounding to something. So right now you got to go till it's 0, and you don't just drag the remainder up, okay? So this one, our decimal is 0.45. We read that as 45 hundredths. Percent is easy. If I just take my decimal, I take this decimal point and I'm going to move it right twice. When you go from a decimal to a percent, you move right. So I write 45 and you must have the percent. Okay? So now let's take a look here. Let's go and make a percent a decimal. I think it's easy to go that way first. So I'm going to take this 5. Where is my decimal point? It's right here. So think about your alphabet. Decimal, D comes before P. Now I'm going from a percent to a decimal. I go left. 1, 2. Well, I have this open spot. I need to put a 0. So I read this as 5 hundredths. That can be both divided by 5 to get 1/20. Okay? Again, I'm going fast. Can you pause? Can you rewind? Of course, that's why we do it this way. This one's different. I haven't done an example like this with you. However, you kind of have viewer's choice. You can make the decimal a percent first, or you can make the decimal a fraction first. Does it matter? No. So let's go with what might be a little longer for some. There are 2 numbers after the decimal point. Okay, there's my decimal point. So I'm going to take 26, put it over that 1, but there's 2 numbers after the decimal. This is an even, and this ends in a 0. It's an even. I can divide both by 2, which gives me 13/50. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your fraction. That's how we simplify. Now, to make this a percent, remember decimal percent, what am I doing? I'm taking a decimal to a percent. So I'm going to go 1, 2, which gives me 26. If you put that in your table, it is wrong. So you need to add that percent sign. Now you are done. Okay? So let's take a break. We went through this quickly, and that's okay. I'll always come apart in these videos where I say, okay, let me know if you don't understand something, jot it down, put it in the comments so we can go over it tomorrow, and I do read those.